So this is a super hot topic. So I was going to talk about it real quick. It's something we get asked about quite a bit. Also something I get asked about very often through friends and family. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this. I'm going to try to cover all of them. So stay tuned for a second. Um, I got to say, when it comes to making the choice to work from home or not, I think it's more about the kind of job and where you're at in your career. I know people that are, you know, 20 years in the game. They're extremely good at what they do. They got a great career history. They're dependable. They're reliable. Their companies never think twice about them working from home. And then there's the other side, which this is the advice I give to my own family and friends that have kids. If you're just coming out of college, um, get in the office, and I'm gonna tell you why. If you can, obviously COVID, all this stuff, you got to be smart. But I just realize that when you come out of college, you're not really prepared for the real world, and then some people don't want to acknowledge that. I see a lot of people waste a decade trying to figure that out, and I hate seeing people not catch their wind until they're like 30 years old and then their career takes off. If you play the game right, your 20s can be amazing career-wise right now. You could be at, where you're at 30, and, is where a lot of people would be at 50, 20 years ago. A lot of time to excel, but I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to give you an example why. College doesn't really prepare you for the skills. They teach you a lot of stuff, but I've had MBAs come work for me, for example, that they went to two top 25 schools, and it still took them 6 months to figure out what it is we're doing. And these are some of the smartest people I've ever worked with. You still have to learn what's going on. And there's parts of just professionalism you need to learn, working with coworkers. There's a lot of game that you need to soak up by being around other people. I attribute a lot of my own career growth as a late teenager and early in my 20s to the people I spent time with personally that actually weren't even in my department, to be honest. When I was consulting at places, I was able to go learn from so many people. I would have never have learned that over a Zoom session. I would have never even met these people, to be honest. That's why I say when you get into work and you start the conversations at work and the things you can learn from other people are so valuable. And then you also learn how to carry yourself, how to become a manager, watching other people lead, learning the emotional intelligence side of things. It's very hard to do that over Zoom or like a written message in a messenger when you're, 1 year out of college. So my recommendation is anybody, if you're coming out of college, get in the office for a few years, go soak up some game, follow the people that are great managers or leaders and learn from them. If you want your career to grow, you're going to need that. On top of all the other people you might meet and the things you're going to learn from them. It's so valuable, and I don't see college teaching that aspect of it. It's now you know. Now, the flip side. The people who seem to really thrive when they're working from home are the people that already know what they're doing. If you're already really good at your craft, you've been doing it for 5 or 10 years, you don't have any, you're that automatic person. You don't need to figure it out. You've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Those people thrive at home. They got no questions. They always get their work done. So those people don't have a stigma. The people that get a stigma are the ones that don't get their work done, by the way. You can talk to anybody in the Fortune 500s right now. They had a lot of success with people working from home, and then they've had trouble. People can't self-motivate. People don't hold themselves accountable. And the problem is, that's making the whole work from home movement look bad. And we got to separate the two. There's the people that just get their work done. They don't need to be managed or micromanaged. They know as a professional what they need to get done. If you can do that, working from home can be great. I tried working from home back in the mid 2000s, and I just valued being around people too much. The amount of creative ideas I get discussing with people that happen over coffee, over a drink, lunchtime. That's where I say it's like it is valuable to be around other people. There's some people that just like being home. Their life's easier. They get their work done. You leave them alone. There's nothing wrong with that. So I do see there is a stigma because there are companies that are watching their productivity go down. And, a lot of people want to attribute that to the people that are working from home. So if you're working from home, you get that negative stigma. But that's not true. I've known some very successful people that worked from home and continue to work from home. It just depends on what you do and where you're at. Now, keep this in mind. There was a study not too long ago done that says the average American, let's just say in the corporate world, has about 23 hours worth of work to do. But we get paid for 40 hours. Most people do anyways. Unless you're like on a part-time or an hourly type of gig. And this is where the issue happens. We got 23 hours worth of work, then we spread that over 40 hours. And I think a lot of managers know that. They know that you don't have 40 hours worth of work. And you start working from home, and then you can't even get the 23 hours worth of work done in 40 hours. This is when bad stuff happens. And that's why you're seeing some of the companies saying, all right, we got to get our people back to work. If you didn't know that stat, you can go look it up. But there's a lot of companies out there, when they start talking about efficiency of their workforce, or when they bring in workforce consultants or management consultants to try to figure out where they can save money, a lot of times they find out, it's like, I need this person here 8 to 5, but I don't have enough work for them to stay busy 8 to 5. Well, then if you go work from home and you're not getting your work done, this causes an issue. So if you know you can't self-motivate, I say go back to the office so you get your work done. Not everyone wakes up in the morning bright-eyed and ready to go and just kill the day. So there are people that thrive from home. The self-starters, the ones that can hold themselves accountable, that have a career history of just getting stuff done, that are a master of their craft, they crush it. If you're not self-motivated, you're not self-accountable, working from home is a terrible idea. And then if you're earlier on in your career, I always recommend getting into the office and soaking up game and learning from the leaders, learning from your peers. You might discover there's another job, like maybe you went into this field and you get the opportunity to see what someone else does, and that might open your eyes up to something else. It's very hard to do when you sit home all day. You sleep in your house 8 hours. You're going to work there 8 hours. You're going to have Uber Eats bring your food. You're going to have someone else deliver your groceries, and you're never going to go outside. It's hard to be creative. It's hard to get exposure to a lot of things. So, while there is a negative stigma, there's a lot of people out there that are doing very well working from home. This is going to change the game. I just don't think that it's cut and dry where we say everybody works from home or everyone goes to the office. Or a hybrid system where you go to the office 2 or 3 days a week and you work from home 2 or 3 days a week. As long as metrics and KPIs are being met, this hybrid system could keep productivity at the level where it needs to be, and also giving that work-life balance to people that need it and want it. But again, if you're asking yourself, should I go back in the office? Is it going to hurt my career to be home? Look, if you're going to sit at home and just get your work done and hide out, your visibility goes to zero. And you realize how much that matters, particularly in large companies. If you're not seen, people aren't talking about you. Keep that in mind. You might get your work done, but it's just one of those things that you're going to end up really low on the radar. You might have to get back in the office. And I say there's a lot of things in life and careers, there's the things that shouldn't matter but do, and you can't change that. And if you know they matter, if you know the rules of the game and you don't play them and you lose, that's your fault. So just one of those things that we don't make the rules, but if you know the rules, you got to find a way to win. So that's my thoughts on working from home. Whether you should or shouldn't, that's up to you. You need to step back, look at your career, see where you're at, and see how it will affect you positively or negatively to work from home. So that's all I got for this one. I will catch you on the next one.